to another video, and this is going to be a special video today. I actually just hit 50 subscribers, which a lot of people will think, oh, that's really not a big number. You know, you look at a lot of YouTube channels that are, you know, in the 50,000 plus subscribers, and that's a huge deal. But for me, 50 subscribers, building this channel organically, not getting involved with ads and all that kind of stuff, that at least I can help it, because I know some of my videos were demonetized. However, I'm very happy to share this video with you today. So I don't want to do a full game room tour because, if we're being honest, my game room is not nearly as impressive as a lot of the videos you'll find out on YouTube. Today I specifically want to just concentrate on one bookshelf in my game room that has a special place for me right now. It houses all of my PlayStation 1 games that I currently own. I think there's a couple that are missing from it because I'm still looking for a box in my crawl space from when I was a kid. However, I have that. I have Super Nintendo, Nintendo on this thing, a couple collectibles, some amiibos. We're going to just take a little bit of time, go through some of the games on this bookshelf, have some fun with it. Again, I want to thank you for hitting 50 subscribers. I apologize ahead of time if this video is kind of shaky at times. I'm going to have to hold the camera. I'm going to try and use the tripod as much as I can, but we'll have to see where it goes from here. But anyways, come along with me. Let's look at this bookshelf and have some fun with it. Alright, so as you guys can see here, this is going to be my kind of retro bookshelf. It's not as big as a lot of people's collections. Obviously, I have a couple other bookshelves that house a lot of games on in my game room, but I want to take time specifically to look at this. I know this is a little bit dusty. I'm bad when it comes to dusting things sometimes, but anyways, we're gonna go ahead and start from the top. I'm gonna try and use this tripod and make sure it works okay, but we're gonna start at the top because the top's gonna be a little bit different. The top here actually has some statues and collectibles and stuff. Now, it's not all of my stuff, it's just a small portion, but I figured you guys would enjoy it. So we'll start at the top here. I'm gonna go ahead and lift this up. So at the top here we have the Arkham Knight statue from the Arkham Knight Collector's Edition. Now, I had both versions of this pre-ordered, including the one that came with the Batmobile that was infamously canceled. I was planning on getting both collector's editions because that's how big of a Batman fan I am and a fan of the Arkham games. Unfortunately, I have to settle with just that one. In front of him is a little Cade 6 GameStop pre-order figure. Next to it is a classic Harley Quinn edition statue. Behind that is the Batman animated series. I'll kind of zoom in on that. Batman animated series statue that was actually given to me as a Christmas present. And in front of this was actually given to me as a birthday present. That's a Poison Ivy statue. And then right next to it is the Sonic Mania Collector's Edition statue. And then right underneath it's my 3DS that's just kind of sitting here right now. So we'll go ahead and move things down to the next shelf. Now, this shelf houses more amiibos and some other random collectibles and stuff. I'll kind of zoom it back so you guys can get a better shot of it here. As you can see behind here, actually, I'll zoom in a little bit here. That is the pre-order bonus for Dead Rising 4 Snow Globe. That's actually my second Snow Globe. The first one I had out of the box, and it fell off my shelf one day and cracked open. So thankfully, because not a lot of people bought that game at launch, I was able to secure another one. Underneath it is the rare Resident Evil 5 Game Crazy Collector's Edition, or not even Collector's Edition, pre-order bonus Sand Globe. And then in front of these here, you have the NES Classic Edition box and the Super NES Classic Edition box. Above them, I have some random amiibos. There's Luigi, Mario. It's hard for me to see there. I think that's Sheik, Pac-Man, Dr. Mario, my personal favorite, Mega Man, and then under it I have Zero Suit Samus, Shovel Knight. This is actually a really cool thing. This isn't an amiibo here. This was actually a cake topper to one of my birthday cakes as a kid. I don't really see this very often come up anywhere, but it's a very old classic Mario, so I really enjoy having that thing. I have some others that, I have a couple boxes in my crawl space that I'm still having trouble finding with old retro collectibles of mine. And then after it, some other various amiibos, Toad, Metal Marios, Link. The other thing I have interesting that's back here, it's going to be hard to see in this video. Behind it here, I have that NECA Batman figure that's based on the '89 Batman game, and then next to it I have a Jim Lee like special collector's edition thing. And then actually behind this, you can't really see it right now, that is the Little Nightmares collector's edition box. And then back in this corner, these three things, which I don't know why Catwoman's back there, but those three things right there, I'll try and lower the camera here for you guys, and hopefully it focuses. Those were also cake toppers back in the day. Those are pretty cool cake toppers. Next to it, a couple more, you know, Zelda-themed amiibos. And then after that, we'll get down to the nitty-gritty here. This is going to be some of the games. And yes, the camera's probably going to look terrible through a lot of this. So this is a good portion of this. This is pretty much all of my Super Nintendo games. I might be missing one or two. As I've said many times, I'm looking currently for a box that's in my crawl space that has some of my retro games that I'm missing, but that box mostly has things like the GameCube and PS2 and Xbox games that I'm missing. Most of my Super Nintendo games, with the exception of my original copy of Zombies Ate My Neighbors, because I repurchased it years later, I'm missing that. Now, some of these, unfortunately, are out of alphabetical order. I just haven't had time to sit down and do that, but we'll kind of go through here. I'm actually going to take the camera off of the tripod here in a minute and show you guys some stuff, but I think for now we're going to leave it this way. So I have some Sega Genesis stuff here. I don't have a lot of Sega Genesis, and not all my Sega Genesis games are on this shelf. Some of them are on the other shelf, but I have Aladdin, I have Mortal Kombat, and I have most recently Echo the Dolphin, which as you can see, the nice pre-owned sticker on the back from GameStop. Paid a pretty decent price for that there. So those are some of my Sega Genesis. I also, and I'll show it in this video at the end, I do have my crown jewel of one of my favorite and best games in my entire video game collection. I'll show you guys that at the end. But it is a very sought after Sega Genesis game. Below that here I have the 7th Saga, Blackthorn, UN Squadron, Super R-Type, Super Mario All-Stars, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. This is my favorite Super Nintendo game of all time. We'll just take those out for right now. Now, I do actually have this boxed. The box is on a different bookshelf in my room. I'll show the box towards the end of this video, but this is my favorite Super Nintendo game of all time. It's the one that's resonated with me throughout the years. I love this game to death. This would be a definite Desert Island game for me. Love that game. Next to it, we have Castlevania 4, which is right here. I have NBA Jam. Here's a good one. Secret of Evermore. Now, this game actually came to me, if you've watched any of my live streams, I had a fellow employee when I worked at GameStop that she was cleaning out her garage, and she found a bunch of her old retro stuff and decided she just wanted to get rid of it. So I actually was able to get that for a decent price from her. Me and my buddy split the cost of it. I think I ended up paying like $150 between both of us. We paid a total of $300, and I got a lot of good stuff out of it. I'll try and point out some of the games I got from that. Here's some more recent games I got. These were from that, if you watch my pickups video from the flea market, there is Populous, there's a game called Weapon Lord, and then there is also Lagoon. These games are just sitting on top because I'm starting to run out of room here for some of this stuff. Next to it, we also have Joe and Mac 1, Final Fantasy 2. I can't read the label on this one. Acme Animation Factory. Donkey Kong Country 1, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Gradius 3, and Legend of Zelda Link to the Past right here. So I have, a fairly moderate Super Nintendo collection. I also have a couple more Super Nintendo games down here. These games are also recent pickups. There is Super Adventure Island. There is some game called First Samurai. Don't really know too much about that game. And then finally, I have Best of the Best Championship Karate. So, and as you can see, my GameStop sticker on the back of that. So, those are those games. Those are pretty much all my Super Nintendo games. I will show, like I said at the end of this video, some of those other higher things. Also here, I have a Super Game Boy. This is a cool thing to have. And then this was actually a birthday present from my wonderful, wonderful girlfriend. She knows that Ghoul Patrol is my personal holy grail game across all systems. And well, obviously it is very, very expensive to get a North American copy of it. Not as expensive, I should say, to get a PAL version copy of it. So she got me a PAL version copy of Ghoul Patrol, and then she also got me this Action Replay so I can play it, and I can also play imported games on my Super Nintendo. So this is a really cool thing to have. So that was a cool birthday present. Very happy to have those. Now, next after that, I'm going to take this off, and it's going to be a little shakier as we go through some of these Nintendo games, but I'll kind of zoom in here. So I have 8 Eyes, Adventure Island, Arch Rivals, Batman, the 89 Batman, Blaster Master, Castlevania, Codename Viper. I can't read this one. Destination Earthstar? Is that what that says? Yes, that was a flea market pickup I kind of forgot about. Dragon Warrior, Dr. Mario, Final Fantasy, Friday the 13th, Ghosts and Goblins, Ghoul School. This is an awesome game. This was a pickup from the Midwest Retro Convention I went to a couple years ago. This is an awesome, awesome, awesome game to own. And the label's in really good condition. I got a really, really good deal on that game. And finally here we have Legendary Winds, Adventures of Link, that's Zelda 2, Life Force, one of my favorite bullet hell shooters of all time, Metal Gear, Ninja Gaiden, Paperboy, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. We come down here. This is actually a cool thing I have above me. I'll explain the story behind this. This is the manual for Clock Tower for PlayStation 1. The reason I have this is I bought this game from GameStop's retro thing, and unfortunately they only sent me the manual and the disc, and for PlayStation 1 I have to have it complete or I just don't want it, because I don't want a bunch of loose discs laying around. So I ended up returning the disc but keeping the manual just in case I ever run across it again. But down here we also have Sky Shark. I actually have 2 copies of Solstice right now. Spy Hunter, Star Tropics, Super Mario Duck Hunt, Tetris, Ultima Exodus, and Xevious. Once we finish that here, we get to the PlayStation 1 games. Now, I don't have a huge collection of PlayStation 1 games. However, I'm proud of what I have. I have some pretty good, hard-to-find ones. Pretty much everything's over here. There is the exception. I'm still looking for my original copy of Symphony of the Night. I will show I have a couple TurboGrafx 16 games. I only have one that actually has a case, and that is R-Type 1. I do have a TurboGrafx 16. That was another very, very nice present from my wonderful girlfriend. But here we'll go through some of the PlayStation 1 games we have. And it's going to be dark, and I apologize. Activision Classics, Alien Trilogy, Beyond the Beyond. This is a really good condition copy of that game. Here's one of my crown jewels of Castlevania collecting. This is Castlevania Chronicle. This came into a GameStop. Believe it or not, I had it transferred from a different store. And this is very, very good condition. There's no problems with it at all. I'll open it up here so you guys can see. As you can see, it's a very, very clean edition of that game. I love the fact that I have this. This is one of my crown jewels of Castlevania collecting right now. Go ahead and slide that back in. I have Colony Wars Vengeance, Dino Crisis 1, Dino Crisis 2, Evil Dead, Hail to the King, Fear Effect, just the first one, Final Fantasy 7. I got my Final Fantasy 7. I was able to find my original copy. Final Fantasy 9. Final Fantasy 8, unfortunately, I was a dumb kid and I sold it. I need to get that back. Final Fantasy Anthology, Final Fantasy Tactics, Front Mission 3, Galarians. This is another good flea market pickup from a couple years ago. That's what I paid for. It's 16. You don't see this game very often, so it's cool to have that. One of my favorite Tony Hawk knockoff skateboard games. I loved all that stuff as a kid. Grind Session. This was a pretty cool game to have. I have a Gundam battle game. Here's a cool series that not many people talk about, the Deception series. These are really cool games. I was very, very happy to get this game. This was also a GameStop purchase, but as you can see, it's in really good condition. It has everything. It's complete. Very happy to have that. Here is one of my crown jewel PS1 games that nobody's talking about. This is a game, I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong, but it's called Koudelka, I believe. I had honestly never heard of this game as a kid. This is one I passed up on, and while I was working at GameStop, this showed up on the retro stuff on the website, and I ordered it. This came complete, It literally looks like it dropped off of a truck in like 1999 or whenever this game came out. So I'm really happy to have that. That game right now, and I don't like to say prices and stuff in my videos, but that game right now is going for like 70 bucks complete. Next up you have Legend of Legia, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, Lunar Silver Star Story, Metal Gear Solid, Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX, Panzer General, Parasite Eve 1 and 2, Resident Evil 2, Tetris Plus, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. That's my original copy. It's beat to hell. It's pretty beat up. It has a crack in the case. I played the hell out of that game back in the day. And then finally WWF Warzone. I have a massive love for that game. That's pretty much everything that's on this bookshelf. I'll kind of give you a little panoramic shot of it from the ground up. Very, very, very nice stuff, as you can see. And yes, that wall looks terrible. At some point I should really paint in this room, but yes, it's looking good here. So if you bear with me for a second, I will show you some other cool stuff in the collection. Alright, finally, I wanted to show you guys some of the box things I have. Now, I don't have a lot of box games from this era, but I do have some good ones. At the end, I'll show you my two crown jewels of my collection in terms of these older systems. So I'll show you some of the boxed games I have here. These are simply just not on that bookshelf because they don't fit properly, so they're on a different bookshelf in my room. Some of these boxes are beat up. They came from that big sale, as I said, from that woman. And I got a really good deal on a lot of them. The games are in perfect condition, but some of the boxes were a little jacked. You have to remember, this box is from like 30 years ago. So I have Gauntlet for the NES. This is the Tengen version of it. I have a really, really jacked box copy of Super Mario Bros. 2. I'd love to get a better conditioned box of this, but for now, that's what it is. This is actually pretty cool. This is in almost mint condition. This is my box copy of Super Mario Bros. 3. This is really, really good condition of it. This is complete in box. I love having this. This is a really, really jacked box copy of SimCity for Super Nintendo. That was part of that lot as well. My final two original boxed, complete in box Nintendo games are Super C, which actually is really, really cool to have. And then finally, and I just learned yesterday that this goes for almost $70 now, which I think is absurd because this game is so common. But I guess because I have the box for it, that's why. And that is the original Legend of Zelda. This is a really, really close to mint condition copy of this in box, and I'm really happy to have that. And finally, before we get to the two crown jewels, we'll end on a Sega Genesis note. These are my couple Sega Genesis box games. I have Batman Returns, I have Spider-Man, and I have, with the original tab still on it, the Jurassic Park game. Not anything really special, it is what it is. So the final two games I want to show is the crown jewels of my retro collection. I'm really happy to have both of these. These are big deals to me personally, and some of them are worth quite a bit of money. Now, I said before, my original copy of Zombies Ate My Neighbors is in my crawl space in my basement somewhere. I'm still looking for that box. But a couple years ago, I had a friend that was at a convention, and he actually got me a boxed copy of it because it is my favorite Super Nintendo game of all time, and that is Zombies Ate My Neighbors. So this is a crown jewel of my collection. Now, obviously, the game cartridge isn't in here because it's on the shelf, but I love having this. This is my favorite Super Nintendo game of all time, and I'm glad to have this box again because as a kid, I didn't save this box. I was dumb when it came to boxes. Now, finally, the crown jewel of not only my retro game collection right now, but my Castlevania collection. This was sealed, but this was given to me as a birthday present a couple years ago with the intent of, if I took this and accepted this as a birthday gift, I had to open it and play it. So, and I did. And that's fine. I'm not a really big fan of having sealed games on my shelf. The only reason games are ever really sealed is if I just haven't gotten to playing them yet. However, this was an awesome birthday gift. This is the crown jewel of my collection. It might not seem like a lot to a lot of you people. It's not the most expensive game in the world, but it's starting to get up there in price. That is a box copy of Castlevania Bloodlines for the Sega Genesis. I love having this in my collection. It's awesome. The box art is gorgeous for this game. This is a really cool Castlevania game, so I'm happy to have this in my collection. Right now, it kind of just sits on my entertainment center here. as a reminder of, you know, what my big gaming collection is. So anyways, guys, that's some of my retro stuff from that one bookshelf. Again, not the longest video in the world. It's not a huge game room tour. When I hit 100 subscribers on this channel, I will do a longer game room tour. I will do a different bookshelf in this room. Maybe I'll do the one that's behind me that you see in the backdrop of all these videos. I have another one that's right over here that houses a lot more collectibles than it does video games, but also has my very small and humble strategy guide collection. And then the very bottom shelf has a bunch of Batman graphic novels because I'm a huge Batman fan, as you guys know. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I want to thank you for hitting 50 subscribers. Doesn't seem like a lot, but to me it's a huge deal. So I started this channel in March of this year, and I've just been doing this for fun. I'm not looking for money. I'm not looking to turn this into a business at this time. I'm just doing this for fun. This is what I do in my free and spare time when I'm not playing video games or hanging out with my girlfriend. I love doing this. I love making these videos for you guys. So I can't thank you enough for hitting 50 subscribers. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.